Hello everybody, my name's Katie, welcome to the Book Buddies, and today's video is late, as per usual. Yeah. I'm making this on Thursday. This video was supposed to go out on Wednesday. Good job, me. I'm very proud of myself, can you tell? So today's video is going to be my August wrap-up. This is going to include all of the books I read in August and the books that I read for Booktubeathon. However, I'm not really going to go into the books in Booktubeathon because I made an actual wrap-up video specifically for those. So for those, I will leave an in card up in the corner. I think it's that corner. It could be that corner. I don't know, whichever corner. One of the corners. There we go. But yeah, I read 8 books in August, which, you know, is a lot for me. I'm rather proud of myself. I read the 8 books in August, and then I read, and then I started 2 books, or 3 books. Started 3 books. I've already finished one of them, but you know, that's gonna be for my September TBR. Hold your horses. So the first book that I finished in August is, I believe, Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. I gave this book 3 stars, and I read this during Booktubeathon, so again, not going to conclude it, really. But yeah, I read it. It was enjoyable, entertaining. I wouldn't consider it a good book to reread, which is what that was. Next book that I finished in August was The Golem and the Genie by, what is her name? By Helen Wecker. This is the first book in the Golem and the Genie series, I guess. I was not aware that this was a series when I read it, so there's that. I gave this book 4 stars. It was really enjoyable. I really liked it. I loved the story and the cultures that were like intertwined and like smushed together. I thought it was really good. I would recommend it. Again, a Booktubeathon read, so if you want to know my thoughts more of my thoughts on the Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore and The Golem and the Genie, I will leave, like I said, the TBR video, and then down below I will probably put in my Booktubeathon vlogs for y'all to look at if y'all haven't, and that will tell you what I thought of those books a little bit more in depth. Haha, yes. Okay, the first book that I finished outside of Booktubeathon was a graphic novel, and it was like, I had a hard time not reading this during Booktubeathon, but I was like, you know what, I do not have time, so I need to, you know, read it later. And that was The Adventure Zone, Here There Be Gerblins by all of the McElroys, illustrated by Carrie Petch. This book is a like graphic novel version of the first arc in the Balance storyline of Taz, which is the Adventure Zone, obviously, and it is a podcast. It's a D&D podcast, or like a tabletop game podcast. The first story is Balance, and they're now on Amnesty, which is a different tabletop game, I believe. It's not Dungeons & Dragons, but I don't remember what it was. But I loved this. It was so cute. It was great. Like, one of my, it was so cute. It was so good. My only gripe is that they changed 2 of the characters' names, and for, like, a good, 3 pages, I had no idea who one of them was, which is sad because he's, like, a well-known and loved character, and I was like, why did you change his name? If you know The Adventure Zone, you probably know which character I'm talking about, because I was so upset. I love him so much, and they changed his name. The other one, I don't, like, it's not that big a deal, but it's just that one character. I won't tell you who it was because I don't think it really matters that much for those of you who haven't read or listened to The Adventure Zone, although I don't know why you would read this if you haven't listened to The Adventure Zone. But regardless, I don't know, I would show you, but spoilers, I guess. I don't know, I just, it's so good. I cannot wait for the next one. I'm so excited. Here on the Goodreads, when is it supposed to come out? When is it coming out? It's supposed to come out next year. It's fine. It's fine. The next arc is Murder on the Rockport Limited, and that was one of my favorite arcs. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. moving on from the Adventure Zone, the first book that I read that was an actual book was Liza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. I have my computer over here, which is why I keep looking over here. And it is a book about a girl who writes a webcomic, but nobody knows that it's her webcomic, and she's kind of awkward, and she's really social. She has really bad social anxiety and stuff like that, and this is like the most popular, one of the most popular webcomics online, so it's got a huge following, and she's just like, I don't want them to know who I am. So, she's writing it, and she meets the author of, or the most popular fan fiction author for her webcomic, and they become friends. And then, you know, romantics ensue. This book is a YA contemporary, obviously, and I usually can't stand YA contemporaries because I don't like romance very much. I feel like it's usually really, really badly done, or it takes over a story that it doesn't really need to take over. However, for this book, like, obviously it's one of the main points of the book, so that's not the problem. The problem with contemporaries is usually that the story or the relationships are problematic, and I don't really want to read it. However, this one was really, really cute. They started off as friends. They stayed friends for a good 2, 3, 4 months, and then they kind of like got into that zone, and the only time that they were really bad to each other was near the end, which, I mean, no relationship is perfect, and I think that they both had like reasons for being so salty and like mad, but I do love that it didn't, like, it was never abusive, it was never like a bad relationship. Even their friendship was never a bad relationship. They were very good with each other. I will give a trigger warning for suicide, and suicide, like, mentions and stuff like that in this book, because it is commented on, and it's not anywhere on the Goodreads that it has that, so I was very, like, taken aback. So just be mindful for that if you read it. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. This is a type of story that I usually can't stand, and I gave it 5 stars. So if that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what will. I really liked it. Off of Liza and Her Monsters, I was like, you know what? I want to read another contemporary because I want something fluffy and easy, and I picked the worst possible book that I could have because it has put me in a reading slump and I'm mad about it, and it is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I hated this book. I didn't like it from the start. The biggest issue was with the characters. Now, this is a story mostly about Eleanor. I don't even know why Park has a dual perspective in this, because he doesn't have a storyline. His only point in the whole story is to make Eleanor feel better about her life. Like, basically, Eleanor has an abusive home life. It is very poor and is bullied a lot, and that's the storyline. And she and Park end up together and dating, and that's like that's the storyline. And the storyline would have been really interesting if the storyline didn't follow Eleanor. If it had a different main character, or if Eleanor had a different personality, that would have been, her part of the story would have been really, really interesting. The romance was never well done. It just, like, they went from not even wanting to be around each other to suddenly like, hey, we're dating, what's up, hey, you're cute. Like, honestly, it was like from one page to another. They just suddenly were like, we're best friends. Now we're dating. Ha ha. Even though I didn't want anything to do with you yesterday. It made me mad. Anyway, but like, Eleanor was very whiny, and like, if people weren't actively trying to help her, I would have understood. However, people were actively like offering her help, and always just like, you know, if you need something, you can just ask, like, all that stuff. And then she would still not do anything about it and complain about her life. And after a while, it just got really, really annoying, because, like, I get it. You don't want people to know. I get it. However, if you're going to sit and complain about your life, even though people are actively trying to help you, you're frustrating. And I could not get past her irritation, like my irritation with her. I could not stand her. Park was a good character. He had no plot. I was kind of offended as a history major because this book is supposed to take place in 1984 or 86, which, you know, having a half Korean boy in Ohio in 1986 should give an interesting plot line because racial tensions back then, and also like his dad is a Vietnam vet. People hated the war on Vietnam and people didn't like the Vietnam vets when they came back. But no, his dad is treated really well because he's a vet. That wasn't really a thing because nobody liked Vietnam vets. Nobody cared that he was half Korean, which wouldn't have been a thing because they just had the the Vietnam and Korean wars not that long ago. People were very racist against East Asians in general because of World War II. Like, it just... I was very offended by his, like, the historical context not being used. Not being used and being shown incorrectly, I guess, would be really what it is. But yeah, no, this book got a 1.5 stars. The 0.5 was because I saw potential in this book. Like I said, Eleanor's story could have been really good, and Park's story could have been really good. However, they were not, so they got 1 star. And the writing was not fantastic. I just had a lot of issues with this book. I'm not going to get like super into it because I could go on a rant for a very long time, and I've been talking really fast, so all of that's probably not going to be edited out. But yeah, no, that book has put me into a reading slump because I went from a really, really good contemporary to one of the worst contemporaries I think I've ever read. And it was just really frustrating. I can't with it. I can't. Okay, so on to the books that I started in August. That's the month that we're talking about. On to the books that I started in August and didn't finish. The first one is The Anvil of the World by Cage Baker. This is... I don't know what this book is about. It's a book about a caravan, and the main character is taking people, places, and, like, transporting goods on this caravan. And 6 of these 10 people are named Smith. And one of them is Lord Ermenwere, which I think is going to end up being like the main person that we're following because this trilogy is called Lord Ermenwere. However, all he does is sit in the back of the caravan in his palanquin and complain all the time. He's sick and he has a nurse that's a really weird nurse. This book is just really strange. Like I said, there are 6 people in this 10-person caravan named Smith, which gets confusing if they don't use like their very specific, like, no, this one, this Smith, no, this Smith. It can get confusing. The main character, the one who is like running the caravan, is a mercenary named Smith, who that's not his actual name, but he's the cousin of the like transportation company owner, I guess. And he was like, hey, do this thing. And Smith was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, basically. I don't know. There are a lot of issues, like I said, and one is there are no chapters, so there is no end goal when you're reading. You're just reading until you stop. Descriptions, there is none. I know that there are the people of the sun who are bright yellow. I know that there are the Yindri who are green. And I know that they came from a place where there was so much dust and dirt that people had asthma all the time because of it. The people of the sun, or the children of the sun. And I know that so far they have just gotten to the Greenlands in where I am, which is which is page 70. And before then they were on like a weird yellow-orange just plain area. I don't know what the caravan looks like. I don't know what anyone looks like, actually. I know one of the girls has black hair and is really fast. They're children. The only character that we get a genuine description of is Lord Ermenwere's nurse, who has long black hair. She's really pale. She's got blue eyes. She looks goth, that goth princess kind of vibe. So yeah, the good thing about this book really is just the writing is interesting. Like the way that she's telling a story is actually really entertaining and I enjoy it. that's probably the only reason that I haven't just totally DNF'd this book, because I was just confused for the first like 50 pages. The next book that I started and didn't finish this month is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This book, Cinder and Liza and Her Monsters, I borrowed from Kayleen, so I don't have them. But I got 22 pages into it, and I haven't really looked at it since. I've been looking at that book, or I've been reading that book off of Scribd recently, so that's also kind of an issue for me, is that I don't really like reading ebooks that much. It's hard for me to see, so I have a hard time reading them, and I forget about them all the time. If it's not an audiobook and it's an ebook, I will probably forget. I will say, I'm only 22 pages in. I can't really say anything about the plot or the characters or anything like that, but I will say that I'm afraid that I'm going to dislike this book on the simple fact that I do not like Cinderella. You all know what the Lunar Chronicles is about. I'm not going to repeat it. If you don't, I'm sorry, but where have you been? But anyway, so I don't like Cinderella, so I have a feeling that I'm probably not going to like this book. However, I wanted to read it because I was told that the main character in Scarlet, Wolf, is a lot like one of my characters, and I just, like, I need to see it. I need to see who is like my child, because I love him a lot, and I need a book that has a character like him. Okay, so the next book that I started, I have finished it, but I didn't finish it in August, was Furthermore by Todd Amafi. If you want to know about that book, I recommend going and looking at my fall TBR, which will be up pretty much right after this. So yeah, those are all of the books that I read in August. Some good ones, mostly good ones, one horrible one just absolutely wrecking me. Ruined my reading mood. It's fine. It's not fine. But yeah, it was a good month aside from the one book. It was a really good month, and I enjoyed it. So I should go and make my TBR video now, because if I don't make it now, I'm never gonna make it. I did not make a weekly update last weekend because I was not here. I was at home and I just didn't have time. And yeah, so there's that. I'm not sure how I'm going to be doing like wrap-ups and stuff. TBRs, I'm gonna do like seasonal TBRs, and there's like a lot of books in them, but they're still pretty loose. Like, I don't necessarily have to read these. These are just the ones that I at the moment would like to get to. But wrap-ups, I don't know if I should do because of the weekly updates. A cloud just went over the sun. Good job, Cloud. But yeah, so I don't know how I'm gonna do them yet. We'll see. I enjoy doing wrap-ups, but I don't know. Just depends. I don't know if they're necessary or not, I guess is the real thing. Anyway, thank you for watching. Leave a comment down, or like, comment, and subscribe if you'd so wish. I will be leaving my Booktubeathon vlogs and my Booktubeathon TV or wrap up down below, along with all of the social media, including my Goodreads, the Instagram me and Kayleen share. And the Instagram me and Kayleen share, which she posts on most often. She posts like 90% of the time. I post maybe once or twice a month. She posts almost every day. Just saying. You should check that out. We have almost 300 followers on there. Or we do have 300 followers? I'm not sure. I haven't checked today. We'll see. I'll check today. I'll check later. But anyway, yes, I will be doing all of that. Be sure to comment down below if you want me to do anything, like a tag or like a specific video. Please make it book related. Because I had one person one time ask me to do the knife challenge, and I was like, no, this is a book channel. And besides that, I don't want to do it. Anyway, just saying, like, leave it book related, or at least like not dangerous in any case. But yes, I will be making my TBR video, and it will be coming up tomorrow. And until then, should probably open it up to the, there we go. Happy reading. Looks like a this looks like a face, I think it's supposed to be a face. You can see it better. You can't really see it because of the glare. I don't know. But like this, I'm pretty sure is supposed to be a face. Because it's a Halloween themed mug, so otherwise I don't know why this would be Halloween themed, so. Trying not to get lipstick on it. It's not being super successful.